When I moved into the Willow Ridge community, I wanted peace. No security detail, no robes, no courtroom drama. Just a quiet life with my tulips and the warm hum of bees in the spring. No one in the neighborhood knew who I really was. I signed the HOA paperwork like everyone else, nodded at board meetings, and quietly trimmed my hedges every Sunday. Then came Helen Grady. Helen was the newly elected HOA president, and from the moment she took office, she acted like Willow Ridge was her personal kingdom. Suddenly, mailboxes had to be colonial style, grass no taller than 1.75 inches, and no decorative items unless approved by her. People laughed it off at first until the fines started. My front yard, which I'd lovingly cultivated with native wildflowers, was Helen's next target. Non-compliant vegetation, her letter read, a $500 fine. I asked to speak with the board and offered documentation showing my plants helped local pollinators. I even provided evidence that the HOA bylaws allowed environmentally sustainable landscaping. Helen refused the appeal. You might be used to bending rules wherever you come from, but here, I'm the law, she said at the meeting, smirking, clipboard in hand. The room fell awkwardly silent. I smiled politely, thanked her for her time, and left. But that smile masked my resolve. What Helen didn't know was that where I come from was the bench of the state Supreme Court. My name is Justice Althea Monroe. For the last 12 years, I've ruled on constitutional law, land disputes, and, ironically, HOA overreach cases. I've written opinions that law students study across the country. And now I had a personal case. First, I documented everything, letters, photos, audio of the HOA meetings, and even the bylaws she was misquoting. Then I filed a formal motion in the county civil court, not as a judge, but as a private citizen. My suit alleged improper fines, abuse of power, and defamation. I also included a motion for injunctive relief against any further action until the case concluded. Helen was served the papers 2 weeks later during a neighborhood cookout. She turned pale, tried to bluster about how I couldn't sue the HOA because she was the HOA. Then someone Googled my name. Her face fell when she read it aloud. Justice Althea Monroe, Associate Justice, State Supreme Court. The silence at that picnic could have sucked the air out of the entire county. In court, Helen tried to argue her case pro se. She claimed her authority superseded outdated bylaws. The judge, an old colleague of mine, raised an eyebrow and asked her to clarify. Helen stumbled. I presented 86 pages of documentation, including her history of issuing fines inconsistently, targeting specific homeowners, and violating transparency laws. The judge ruled in my favor within an hour. The court not only dismissed the fine, but ordered the HOA to undergo a full audit. Helen was removed from her position by unanimous vote at the next emergency meeting. Her personal emails revealed she'd also tried to rezone part of the neighborhood to sell green space to her cousin's real estate company. Residents were furious. They never knew they were being manipulated. As for me, I didn't gloat. I continued tending my wildflowers and waved at neighbors who now nodded with more than just politeness. They respected me, not for being a judge, but for standing up when others couldn't. Helen moved out quietly 2 months later. Her house sold below market value, and my tulips, still blooming.